Hey guys, I'm just about to hit the shower. I'm in the house with my robe. Now, if you look at my background, this is a different background from my last video. And like I mentioned in my last video, my husband and I happen to have two places. I think I should look there. Again, I mentioned I don't have professional equipment for online content, but I do plan on investing on like professional equipment, camera, lights, everything. At the moment, I just place my phone right in front of me, press play, and I start talking. But I think that's the right place to look because I looked at my last video which I posted and I sort of like tried to follow my eyes and see where the viewer has eye contact, and I believe it's right over there. So as I was saying, this background is different because I'm now in the Alps. We have two places. One is in the big city where my husband is mostly based because his work is mostly based there. And so he needs to be nearer to the house. And then this second place where I am mostly based, this is nearer to my job. And this is in the Alpine region of Austria. I have mentioned both on my Instagram and on this new YouTube channel that I got a job as a cashier slash 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 receptionist at a wellness center right here in the Alpine region of Austria. And so we acquired a second place, which I love because I get to be as feminine as I like. It's full of candles and the decor is my style. If you want to know how I decorated my living room, head on over to my Instagram. I do give you a living room tour. My Instagram is at Elizabeth_Irungu_sweet tea. And this is a place where I get to like have a bunch of candles, light up candles. It smells very feminine. If you look at my last video here on YouTube, the other place has very neutral colors. There's gray, white, gray and white and a bit of black. That's my husband's place. Like his house, we literally refer to it like your house versus my house. His house is very neutral, like gender neutral and more manly or masculine. My place is very feminine and he does complain about that. He's like, I live here too, because we live in between the two places, even though he's more over there and I'm more over here. Anyways, head on over to my Instagram. Feel free to watch the videos there. I will be more consistent on YouTube. And let's get into it. Okay, so the argument that black men do not love their women or do not like us black women is not a new argument under the sun. People have pointed out that as soon as a brother has a little bit of ka-ching-ching, you see it with Hollywood celebrities, you see it with sports personalities and anybody in the public eye, like very successful or rich politicians. The moment they pocket that dough, they immediately start dating white women. Like, people have pointed it out. They're like, look at Tiger Woods, look at this person and that person and the other person. As soon as there's a little bit more in the bank account, they do a switch 180 and they start dating women of other races, either Latina or white women. Although I've had arguments that Latino people can either be brown or be white. We are not arguing about that today. I'm just pointing out the argument that black men do not place black women on a pedestal like we black women place them. I've also had the argument that a black woman will stand behind a black man even if he is a criminal. She will not leave his side, even as women of other races run in 7 different directions. Like, black women hold you down. They will be your homie, they will be your right hand. as long as you need us, we are right there. I've had that argument severally, and I've looked into like a bunch of videos, I've looked into a bunch of case studies, I've looked into a bunch of like online discussions, and I just have to be honest with you, I do see a good number of Black men praise women that are of other races. That includes Asian women and white women. They really think like they've made it once they have a woman of another race. I am not one to judge because I am a Kenyan woman who married an Austrian man. So I'm not one to point fingers and judge, because same way I argue, or the world argues, that Black men put women of other races, like place them on a pedestal, is how probably Kenyan guys could argue that Kenyan women think they've made it once they marry a foreigner. But then there's the question of why a woman would seek protection from men of other races. Because every time I see this discussion or argument online, it always circles back to that question of protection. Women need to feel protected. Like, here's the thing, people love to like argue with nature when nature shows you every single day in every single way that women have their natural talents and men have their natural talents, or roles, if you'd like to call them that. Women are more nurturing, and it's by nature more caring, and that's how or why you see even in the animal kingdom, with like animals out in the wild, the female is more with the baby, right? Not only to breastfeed, but just to nurture and care for the offsprings. It's mostly the woman, right, by nature. And men are more inclined to like providing and protecting. Men scientifically are more violent. Just to add to that point, anatomically speaking, when you look at your anatomy physically, you are less muscular than a man. Men are just physically bigger and more muscular. Of course, there's exceptions, but exceptions do not make the general rule. So I am talking from a scientific standpoint. Men, their physique is different from the physique of a woman. Scientifically, men are more violent. Now, some men will use the fact that they are bigger to intimidate and or harm women and children, which is such a shame, because they are anatomically capable of doing that and, creating real damage. While some men, the real men, will use that natural violence to protect women. So this violence has its use in case of an intruder, whether it's a wild animal or another man. This man will use his physique to protect you. His quick thinking as far as violence is concerned to protect you, women and children. And I'm not going to argue with like things that I see with my own eyes. I don't need science to tell me that. A man will be violent faster than a woman ever could. Of course, there's exceptions to every rule, but of course, exception does not make the general rule. And women have the need to feel protected, and I've seen a common factor in all the discussions that I've looked at or the videos I've watched online. The common factor is that Black women argue that the Black men, our brothers, our uncles, our fathers, our people, our Black men, are the last to protect us. Like, a white guy will protect you faster than a Black man ever could. As a matter of fact, I've looked at cases of women who've been assaulted in one way or the other, and they have said that Black men victim shamed them faster than anyone else. They were like, what were you doing wearing that? What were you doing that at that hour outside? Like, they would rather tell a man of another race than their own brother, like their own people, because Black men will be like, you are a I don't want to say the word on YouTube, but they will tell her you're, how can I put this? You're a girl of the night, right? You're a girl of the night, so if not, what were you doing outside? What did you expect? They are known to, how do you say this word on YouTube? Shame us using our sexuality. Like it's a common thing. I'm so sorry that I have to agree with that argument. I have to agree because I do have a lot of instances and experiences of like being shamed using my femininity, my sexuality, my being a woman by men of my race more than men of other races. When it comes to shaming, I am yet to be shamed by a white guy for being a woman who probably will go outside in a miniskirt. I've not seen white guys say anything about that, or like Arab guys might, because of the whole religion, the Islam aspect of it. But if you're not a Muslim, they don't expect it from you. And Asian guys, not really. They are more like, into Asian women and what Asian women do, and still they won't shame them the way a brother will shame a black woman. And so I know that that's a fact because I've been shamed by black men. I've been called all sorts of things the moment I dressed suggestively, or I felt sexy that day, or like black men have come for me, and it wasn't tough love. It was more like, also, you're now going to get married to those people. They mean like white people, mostly in Kenya, that's what they mean. Because you think we are not good enough. So what I sense from that kind of a response is like low self-esteem. And so I'm not going to do this video from a point of attacking my brothers, because these are our nephews. Black men are our uncles, our dads, they're they're ours, you see. So I'm going to do this video differently by like looking for the root cause. What is it that created that animosity? What is it that created that low self-esteem in our men? I mean, there's a lot of research material out there on the same topic, such as books and studies. An example of a book is this one right here by Rajan, and it's titled Why Black Men Love White Women. We just talked about that just now. As soon as they get some money, they go for white women. There's also this book, Why We Hate Black Women, by one Hassani Pettiford. I mean, you can just go and do your own research. There's been credible universities that have actually done case studies and other research centers in and around the same topic. One interesting thing that I read, a study by a certain think tank, was this one right here, Married Black Men's Opinion as to Why Black Women are Disproportionately Single. And this is a qualitative study. It's just food for thought, and there's a lot of think tanks out there and research centers that have covered this topic and that cite various examples as to why black men tend to go for women of other races. However, there's this poem that I came across online, and I just took an extract of it, and I'd like to share it right here because I think it's beautifully penned. It reads, Black man, stop hating our women. Her skin, her hair, her body is what you come from. Love her and respect the essence of her beauty. She wouldn't be loud and rowdy if you'd stop lying and cheating. Don't let her strength intimidate you. Let it strengthen you. Stop hating the skin you're in, and you'll start to see our women much different. That was by a guy called Tony A. Gaskins Jr. Now, when he says she wouldn't be loud and rowdy, I just reflect back on the question of the quote unquote angry black woman. There's been a lot of research on that specific topic where black women are painted as always being angry. You can go look into that. And black men have cited that as a reason why they don't marry black women. Anyways, back onto my video. One, our men were beat down in every sense of the word by the colonizer. He made sure that he beat down their masculinity, their ability to provide. So he beats them down physically, economically, socially, that they don't feel good about themselves, because I strongly believe that men of other races are threatened by black men. Look at a black man, even just physically. Look at a black man. Give him the same opportunities when it comes to working out, taking care of his body, eating right, with a man of any other race. And then look at the results. There's just something really masculine and manly about our men that you cannot find any other place. And they do say that black men have a big... I'm not here to confirm or deny, but that is something that has been said time immemorial. So I think black men were and always were a great threat to men of other races. And so as soon as, especially the white race, technologically grew because of the need, what led to like the West growing their technology faster than African nations. We did not have the need for guns. We did not have the need for computers. We did not have the need for electrical trains. We did not have the need. Why? Because our climate, how we were living, production of food was rich, life was slower, the environment was conducive, like we had tropical weather throughout the year. So there was no rush for survival on the African continent centuries ago. Life was quieter. And so the white man, as soon as he had technological advancement, because that everyone came from Africa. They migrated through the Eurasia route to Europe, and they found a very cold, unbearable continent. I'm talking about not modern history, but history from Neanderthal times, like ancient history. They had to develop very quickly for them to survive. This continent that I'm sitting in right now, Europe, is very cold. There was nothing you could grow. They needed to eat. So their needs were different, and so they had to work in a sharper way. They had to survive. So by the time, hundreds of years later, they were coming back to the African continent, they had guns, they had weapons, they could produce, enough food to keep them going in cold weather. And so colonizing and taking over was so much easier than, happy-go-lucky Africans who were chilling at the beach and eating coconuts and growing whatever we wanted to grow. So that's a whole other topic that we can go through. How was Africa colonized, even though we have seen throughout history that Africa had some of the greatest ancient civilizations that they don't teach you in school, because Western education is carefully crafted to make sure that certain people look superior to others. Again, a topic for another day. So how is it that we got colonized? And you will see that we just had different needs. Now, because of that, I believe that the white man made sure that he beats our men down. Once you take out the man, you have destabilized the family. There is no argument about that. And he made sure that that man is chained. First, he was chained literally, and then he became chained figuratively. Do you know that Africa, the African continent, with its over 40 nations, 54 countries, is one of the hardest places to do business across the region? To get permits to do business outside your country, even if your country is part of the AU, the African Union, the AU, it's just really difficult for you to trade with another African nation. And that is part of chaining us, this time financially. Do you know that there are some African countries that still pay taxes to the West? So they made sure that this black man remains chained. Okay, even after they've left, colonization is over and done with, we still keep him down one way or the other. Because if he rises and he roars, his roar is a very loud, masculine, manly roar. And if you look around you at the moment, there's a lot of I don't want to get too controversial, but there's a lot of emasculation of men disguised as human rights. You know, the masculinity of men is being challenged, and you know, certain people are pushing certain agendas that make men weaker in the name of empowering women or empowering certain groups. And if you look closely, you can see that the masculinity of men is under attack. So again, topic for another day, and I will get into all these topics that I've said there are topics for another day. For instance, ancient civilizations in Africa, way before any white man ever set foot there. Who are the Africans trading with? The emasculation of men, where we come from as a people and our differences, you know, the West and the East. I will talk about all these as my YouTube channel grows. But for now, I just wanted to address this topic of black men hating on their women, and to find the origin, not just to bash our brothers, not just to bash, because a lot of the videos, they're just bashing black men, like, you all do not support us, you do not protect us, you call us all sorts of names. Again, black men are very infamous. You hear it in their rap music. You hear how they refer to black women. You know, you hear how they disrespect us. And I've had black men shame me throughout my life. You know, the kind of shaming that black men have done to me, none of the white guys have done that. And even if they have, it's at a very, like, very minimal that I probably didn't even notice it, you know, misogyny or whatever. But black men, it's in your face. Since you, like, from the moment you become a teenager, they start calling you a bitch. And I wanted to not focus too much on like bashing them and telling them how wrong they are. I wanted to focus on what made them that way, because I do agree that a lot of black men are like that. A lot of black men, as soon as they get money, they date women of other races, and it doesn't stop there. They use that to then bash black women. And I've seen it time and time again. And I feel and strongly think that a lot of that has to do with colonization. It has to do with slavery. Yes, they were put in shackles. Their self-esteem was beat down, broken. Their sense of worth broken. Their dignity, their ways to provide for their family, they are ashamed. Black men carry a lot of shame. They carry a lot of trauma. And because of that, the minute they see a woman who they should love, protect, take care of, provide for, and they can't, they just, you know, lose it and start calling her all sorts of names. Another reason I think this happens is because we come from broken countries that were broken by, you know, the powers that wanted to remain powerful, the Western world. And because they broke down our economies, you grow up in a not a very stable home, economically, financially, socially. Mothers are not loving sons the way sons should be loved, because mothers are out there trying to provide for sons. There's the single mother pandemic, that's what I call it, you know, where's your dad? So many people do not have fathers, and fathers are very important in a home. So mothers are out there trying to hustle, and so black men, from the time they're little boys, they don't feel, a lot of them, again, there's exceptions, they don't feel like they were loved by their moms. And every woman they encounter represents, at a subconscious level, their mother, who wasn't there for them. And they take out that trauma on black women, because a black woman reminds him of his mother. That's the direction I wanted to take with this discussion, because I don't think we achieve anything by bashing our brothers. We don't get anywhere. Maybe we can start repairing relations and relationships from the root cause. First, let us look at what causes this disease in our society before we can look at possible remedies. Food for thought for you, and now I head out to the shower.